Imagine a world teetering on the edge of darkness. The Roman Empire has fallen, Europe is fractured, and knowledge is slipping through the cracks of history. In this uncertain time, it was a group of monks living in remote monasteries across the rugged hills of Ireland who would become the unexpected guardians of civilization. But how did they do it? And why does their story matter more today than ever before? To understand their crucial role in preserving history, we must first understand the world they lived in. In the 5th and 6th centuries, Europe was in turmoil. The Western Roman Empire had crumbled, and the Dark Ages were beginning. Without the infrastructure of Rome, literacy rates plummeted, and knowledge of ancient civilizations, Greek, Roman, Egyptian, was in danger of being lost forever. The fall of Rome had shattered the delicate fabric of Western civilization. Literacy, once the privilege of the elite, became a rare skill. Most of the old texts, the key to understanding humanity's intellectual heritage, sat in decaying libraries, inaccessible to all but a few. But it wasn't just Christianity they were preserving. No, the Irish monks had a far greater vision, one that stretched back to the Greeks and Romans. They saw themselves as the keepers of the past and the builders of the future. Monasteries became the new centers of learning. In Ireland, there were over 3,000 monasteries scattered across the island by the 8th century. These places were not just sanctuaries of faith, they were also havens of scholarship. The monks took ancient manuscripts, many of which were falling apart in other parts of Europe, and began to copy them, word for word. The most important works of Greek philosophers, Roman historians, and Christian theologians were painstakingly transcribed onto vellum or parchment. In the dim light of their candlelit rooms, these monks preserved the thoughts of Aristotle, Cicero, and the Bible itself. One of the most famous examples is the preservation of the works of Cicero. Though most of Europe forgot his contributions, Irish monks took the time to copy his writings and thus ensured that his wisdom would reach the future. But their preservation efforts didn't stop at the written word. The Irish monks brought an art form to manuscript creation, illumination. They adorned their copies of ancient texts with intricate illustrations, turning each page into a work of art. This wasn't just decoration. It was a reflection of the monks' devotion to their work and their belief in the importance of what they were doing. The most famous example of this art is the Book of Kells, an illuminated manuscript that contains the 4 Gospels of the New Testament. Its vibrant colors, detailed imagery, and complex patterns are a testament to the extraordinary craftsmanship of the Irish monks. The Irish monasteries didn't just preserve ancient texts, they were also centers of cultural exchange and innovation. The monks didn't just copy Greek and Latin works. They translated them into Old Irish and developed their own educational systems. They taught the arts of rhetoric, theology, and medicine, and their influence spread far beyond Ireland. As Christianity spread across Europe, Irish monks traveled to places like England, France, and even as far as Germany and Italy. They brought with them their knowledge, their manuscripts, and their passion for learning. In the process, they ignited the intellectual revival that would lead to the Carolingian Renaissance in the 8th and 9th centuries. One of the most fascinating chapters of this story is how the Irish monks contributed to the Carolingian Renaissance, a revival of learning and culture initiated by Charlemagne, the king of the Franks. Charlemagne's empire spanned much of Western Europe, but it was still in the dark about much of its ancient heritage. Seeking to revive learning, Charlemagne invited Irish monks to his court. These monks brought with them the manuscripts and knowledge that would ignite an intellectual firestorm across Europe. Today, the work of these Irish monks lives on. Their manuscripts are some of the most treasured artifacts of Western civilization, housed in libraries and museums around the world. They didn't just preserve history, they shaped it. These monks were unsung heroes of history. They didn't wage wars, conquer kingdoms, or seek fame, but their quiet dedication to preserving knowledge ensured that the light of civilization never went out. So, the next time you read a book, pick up a manuscript, or learn something new, remember the Irish monks, the unlikely guardians of history who saved the past for the world to see. And who knows, perhaps the lessons they preserved in the past will help us navigate the challenges of our own time. As we trace the footsteps of history, we see that the legacy of monks is far from ancient or forgotten. These dedicated individuals, living in quiet contemplation or laboring in solitude, shaped the course of civilization in ways both subtle and profound. From the preservation of knowledge during dark ages to the spread of education, philosophy, and faith, their influence endures. So, as we close this chapter of history, let us remember that the silent footsteps of the monks continue to echo through our modern world. Not only in the texts they left behind or the institutions they built, but in the values of discipline, service, and introspection that we still carry with us today. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. Until next time, may the past continue to guide us in the present, and may the footprints of history always lead us forward.